What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Dr. Splash, and today we're bringing a banger battle that, personally, I feel like only I can really present. A lot of people don't touch on both characters, haven't really touched on both characters, and I'm going to do that today. We're going to do the Emperor of Mankind from Warhammer 40k versus the Doomslayer from the Doom series. Arguably, two of the biggest chads to ever exist in fiction. And before we begin, I need to preface, I've seen disrespect from both sides. I've seen Doom fans disrespecting the Emperor. I've seen 40k fans disrespecting the Doom Slayer. I'm here to tell you right now, okay? Both of these motherfuckers go hard in the paint. So you're going to show both respect and love. Keep it civil in the comments, because personally, I fuck with both characters hard. Now, I also have a channel partner that will be debuting soon. Her channel out in the video. I'm gonna pin that shit in the comment section down below. But she's like, imagine me if I was a bad bitch, okay? That's basically what it's gonna be. I'm not even gonna let her do face reveal until like 10k subs, because I'm not dealing with the Sims early. But anyway, she's gonna be hilarious and she'll do similar content. So definitely subscribe early before she debuts. Now, back on track. I'm gonna present both characters and we're gonna just straight up get into this shit. Now, first off, I want to talk about the Doomslayer. Now, the Doomslayer is a being who is essentially John Wick on a cosmic scale. They fucked with his pet. He went crazy. He is in hell and has been going wild for a time immemorial. And now, a big thing to remember is the suit that he wears, specifically in Doom Eternal as well, was modified to specifically fight against the forces of hell. This is a suit designed and built to withstand essentially infinite assaults from beings beyond time and space. This includes beings that have realms and areas such as Urdak, which is a place of transcendent technology. And this is one of the many battlefields you will set foot on as the Doomslayer and completely dominate. Now, at the absolute worst, if you don't take transcendent to align with what we will later see as descriptors for hell, at the bare minimum, it would be transcendent to human technology, which is still very impressive, as obviously these bitches can travel to hell, battle hell, etc. Hell, according to the Art of Doom Eternal, is the ultimate battlefield for the Doomslayer, an inverse of the living world, and is also a living thing. It is not bound by the dimensions of space and time, and it is transcendent to the realm of the living, as well as in terms of time and space, it transcends them as well. It's kind of weird. Maybe you could argue the transcendent nature could apply to the living world as well, since it's the inverse of said living world. But I don't know, that gets a bit tricky. Regardless, hell and the beings within it obviously are completely broken with these descriptors. The Praetor suit, which is what he uses, was found in hell during a pan-dimensional expedition of hell, which implies hell has various dimensions within it. It's stated to be nearly impervious to damage or practically invulnerable, which, given the context of what is being dealt with, is very impressive. Keep in mind, this is tech built to withstand battles with beings beyond time and space, to take on the chaos of hell itself. The world of Doom also has weapons capable of completely destroying organisms, destroying all life in an area that also isn't the gunman, which is really impressive in the context of which, quote, life this being or Doomslayer is facing with these weapons. Now, it's also worth noting that he doesn't necessarily use weapons. He's such a fucking chad that, in all honesty, he could just wild out without the use of weapons, but he does use weapons to spice shit up, and I don't blame him. When you're going on an endless genocide of demons, you might want to spice up the way you kill them bitches every once in a while, you know? This includes the Crucible Blade, which is speculated to transfer power to the wielder. This would theoretically be through murder and slaying of enemies, which is crazy for two reasons. One, obviously, Doomslayer has killed a fuck ton of people. Demons, of course, his specialty. But on top of that, if you're getting stronger with every kill, he's essentially has infinite kills, and he's going to keep doing so in an infinite manner, getting theoretically stronger each kill. Now, in terms of impressive W's and what he scales to, this also includes Davoth. This is the creator of the multiverse who was betrayed and imprisoned by his own creations. The Slayer would eventually come to end him. Although all he created was erased with his death, the Slayer remained until he would be needed again. This means Doomslayer has passive existence erasure on a bare minimum, a multiversal level to arguably outerversal scale, given all that the creator has accomplished and created. In the Doom series, while the Dark Lord is the most powerful being in verse, second to the Slayer, another powerful being like the Icon of Sin is known to passively warp realities just by simply existing in them, but he was presumably erased once the Dark Lord fell. Titans are some of the most formidable enemies in Doom and very large in size. They're massive weapons of hell intended to spread the wanton concepts of destruction and chaos. This is important because literally the boy tears through all that shit like Swiss cheese. The Crucible Blades can be used to also put Titans down, just as they did the Icon of Sin. The raw power they generate can power entire fortresses alongside slaying powerful evil like the Icons of Sin. What does this mean in conclusion? Doomslayer is one of the strongest characters we've ever seen in the video game mythos, one of the stronger characters in fiction, an absolute badass with broken weapons and abilities, and the toughness to endure an endless crusade in a hell beyond time and space. He is a bad motherfucker, and he's gonna need all of that badness, because he's going up against another super Chad in fiction, the Emperor of Mankind. We see how broken Doomslayer is. What does the Emperor bring to the table? Let's get into it. A being who many throughout the galaxy question whether or not he is actually a man or simply a god living among them. The Emperor of Mankind is the super controversial and absolutely imposing figure from the Warhammer 40k mythos. The real space is constantly under threat from the likes of the Chaos and the Warp. This is a realm beyond the physical, beyond the material. This is a realm of chaotic, conceptual nature with infinite folds within it, constantly racing forth like chaotic, frothing bubbles to destroy everything, as it is the natural nature of this existence. Now, you might be wondering, how does this warp? How does this powerful concept and the chaos gods residing within it, these beings that are beyond time, space, physics, anything we use to define existence of any nature, they're beyond that. How is this withheld from completely destroying the material plane? Well, that is through the golden nature, power, and sheer will of the Emperor of Mankind, whose will, no matter what state he is in, is holding back the warp. There are beings who have experienced the chaos gods themselves, these beings that have all the descriptors I just gave you, beings that can fold realms beyond infinite numbers of planes of existence, right? These beings, these chaos gods, are not nearly as terrifying in an individual nature as the Emperor of Mankind himself is. In a weakened state, when he was bound to his throne, not really moving around, a state in which most of us would think would be a dub, his son Horus, amped by literally all of the chaos gods, was unable to take out the Emperor of Mankind. And this will reveal perhaps his most horrifying ability as the Emperor. The Emperor of Mankind, as he sat on that throne, engaged his son on every possible realm. This includes the physical, the mental, the psychic rather, the spiritual. Any possible realm of existence he battled on, defeated his amped son Horus, and erased him completely from existence, giving him a true death that is essentially beyond any conceptual way to return from. Perhaps more broken, though, than this ability in which I just described. And by the way, to do that to your own son's fucked up. Shout out to the Emperor, the GOAT. There's only a few people that would do something so fucked up. It'd probably be Doomslayer and Emperor. That's why they're fighting today. Now, the Emperor not only can inflict this true death that I just described to you, but he also can return from it and bring beings back from this, as he has displayed with the likes of other sons in the past that he brought back from true death, which erased them from both the materium and the warp, which would completely conceptually erase you. He can restore that, which is absurd. He is the greatest psyker to ever live. He is who all psykers must come to get their power and blessing. Keep in mind, these psykers battle the warp. They have destroyed realms within the warp. These realms are beyond time, space, distance, everything we use to conceive of. They all bow to the Emperor. They all are imposed on by his will and his power. They need his blessing to even make moves like this. They need his power to even make moves like this. We've seen characters get lost within the warp, go beyond what any possible mental process could handle, right? To the point where these concepts are so strong, how could you possibly retain identity? You know who could easily bring people back from this? The Emperor of Mankind. Even in his weakened states, he's doing all this crazy shit I'm describing to you. There's eldritch beings, there's beings within the warp too, that have tried to manipulate time, fate, futures, and destinies. All of these manipulations are irrelevant to the Emperor of Mankind. Yes, it's true, he has sat on that throne in a physically decrepit state, but you must remember, the Emperor of Mankind is not physical. The physical is just sometimes a representation of what he is. In fact, to the viewer, to the one that sees him on the material plane, he appears to them as they would imagine him. Essentially, for a quick comparison, this would be like the principle of how Galactus works in Marvel Comic. He appears to you how you would imagine he would look like. For humans, that's humans. For Shi'ar, that's Shi'ar, etc. He has the same principle effect to him. As a result, the Emperor of Mankind is one of the biggest chads we have ever seen in fiction, has a multitude of crazy hacks, and is one of the biggest chads. In terms of the chad meter, right up there with the Doomslayer. He is incredibly broken, but will it be enough to beat the Doomslayer? Let's go ahead and get right on into that. We've already said the usual like and subscribe. I hope you already did that, because this obviously takes some time to make as a video. But let's get into the conclusion, how I think this breaks down. For one, again, I addressed in the beginning the downplay from both sides. We're not doing that today. Both characters are absolutely broken. In terms of the outerversal argument, you can use both series, both characters, and you can get them to that level. Now, personally, if you were to ask me who I think is stronger, who I think has more solid high-tier scaling, I would lean the Emperor of Mankind. I think the warp, how that entirely scales throughout the many properties dealing with Warhammer 40k, which is a shit ton. It's very convoluted. The Emperor of Mankind has way more arguments, way more descriptors to put him higher than where we would put the Doomslayer. What I mean by that essentially is the best scaling that you can get for the Doomslayer. For example, statements of being beyond time and space, of destroying multiverses, of destroying all of reality. These things, right? These can easily be found several times over within 40k, and you can even find bigger shit than that. So I would probably be, if I was a betting man, I would bet Emperor of Mankind stronger. Now, if we were to say both are as strong as each other, which is okay, I'm not too opposed to that, because I do think Doomslayer has some fantastic scaling. I do think that would then put this at a battle of hacks and abilities, which obviously Emperor of Mankind just outclasses him in. He has way more at his disposal, way more he's proven to be quite capable of. And I think that would be the deciding factor if we don't give him the power advantage. In conclusion, what I have decided in this matchup is ultimately I favor the Emperor of Mankind. I think he has better arguments, slightly better scaling, if not straight up better scaling. Even if you are friendly on the scaling side and say they're close, which I don't believe in, but if we were to give that, I think he takes the versatility department. So, in conclusion, I say the Emperor wins. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the video in the comment section down below. If you want to see an individual breakdown scaling video on both these characters that really goes into depth on both, I would say either you can sponsor it monetarily, or let's get this video to 500 likes. But regardless, guys, it's been your boy Dr. Splash. I enjoyed making this. Go check out my homegirl's channel. Content coming soon. I'll be featured on there a lot as well. And yeah, remember, it's Yancey Street, bitches.